So looking at Snorlax VMAX, this is the deck list we are playing with in the matches and stream. As you can see, we've got 3 copies of Snorlax V, 3 copies of Snorlax VMAX, 1 copy of the Absol with the Dark Ambition ability. Everybody's playing Jirachis. Everybody's using Absols and Denny's. This is a way for us to trap those in the active spots and keep them from using the escape boards. We know there's scoop ups. We know there's things Zero Aura with a free retreat cost for lightning Pokemon and Pikarom decks. But this is to help trap our opponents if they don't have a way around that. Of course, we have Volcanion with a Flare Starter. If we go second, we don't get a Jirachi. We can always go with a Volcanion. And then the High Heat Blast doing the 60 more damage for at least 4 fire energies in play. This does 110 damage in total, which would turn into 220 to get knockouts on Zacian V, so long as there's no Metal Frying Pan, allowing us to take those big one-hit KOs that you see in the Zacian Vs that everybody's running in pretty much every deck. We have 2 copies of Dendeni for the DD change. We have 3 copies of Jirachi with the Stellar Wish ability to search out our trainer cards, Pokecoms, Quick Balls, Giant Hearse, just everything we need to accelerate this deck to get faster. 1 copy of the Mew with the Bench Barrier ability to prevent all damage done for our bench Pokemon. Psi Power comes definitely in handy with Gmax Fall maxing out at 210, 220 if we have the Vitality Band on to deal damage around if we weren't able to hit that one-hit KO. Pikarom has 240, so we're always going to be shy that 20 to 30 damage. Psi Power allows us to do that without having to leave Snorlax VMAX in the active spot. We have 3 copies of Pokemon Communication, 3 copies of Quick Ball. This helps us search out all the Pokemon. Definitely trying to get the Jirachi set up early, along with the Snorlax V to get accelerated on as fast as possible with the 4 welders that we play in deck. We also play 2 copies of Scoop Up Net. I found this is really useful to pick up the Jirachi if we're trying to rotate multiple Stellar Wishes in case we have any fails, if we start with Absol in the starting position, or even the Volcanion after we've done the Flare Starter attack. We can get it picked up and bring the Snorlax VMAX that we've hopefully evolved on turn 2 into the active spot. Now, what makes this deck awesome is the Super Scoop Up card. We do play 4 copies of this, flip a coin if heads, put one of your Pokemon and all cards attached to it in your hand. This will devastate your opponent if you get a heads on a Snorlax VMAX that has 340 hit points. There are very few and far too known Pokemon who can do a one-hit KO of 340 hit points. And typically, we're getting hit somewhere between 220 all the way up to 300. But not many Pokemon can hit that magic number of 340 hit points. So with the Super Scoop Up, hopefully we get a heads, we pick it up, we have another Snorlax V on bench, or another VMAX ready to go, and we come up and start hitting with the new, fresh one, while setting up that same one we just picked up on bench. We do play 4 copies of Switch to switch around between our Jirachis, between our Snorlax Vs, and our Mews with the Psi Power if need be to consistently have a flow of switching so we can utilize and get everything we need in the deck. We do play 2 copies of the Giant Hearth to utilize with our welders, along with 1 copy of Heat Factory to continue to draw into cards if we can't draw off our welder or our Professor's Research. We do have 10 fire energies we play within the deck to help get our other cards that we're looking for. I have elected to go with 2 copies of Boss's Order in lieu of Great Catcher or Pokemon Catcher. I just feel like Boss's Order works a lot better with this deck, and again, We're not going to be taking a lot of one-hit KOs on us, so I feel like we have more versatility on utilizing the boss's order than having to rely on the Pokemon catchers and flipping coins, or the great catchers and discarding cards that we need. We run 3 copies of Professor's Research, 2 copies of Skateboard to attach with the Jirachis, or Absol, or Dendeni to give it free retreat. We played the 2 copies of the Vitality Band. Again, this is to help us reach that one-hit KO potential on Zacian Vs, and also keep us in range of Picarons with even giant big charms attached to them, and take advantage of having that 10 more extra attack power, because while 210 does set us up for 2-hit KOs, 220 again gives us the 1-hit KOs and sets us up in a better 2-hit KO, especially if we don't have a full bench. We play 4 copies of Triple Acceleration Energy. Throughout the game, we are going to be discarding fire energies, or if we get a super scoop up and we don't have a welder in hand to already set up another Snorlax V or VMAX, we can always rely on the Triple Acceleration Energies to get the Snorlax VMAX to attack that turn. I find this deck flows very well. A lot of opponents have, again, a lot of difficulty pending the super scoop ups do work. We do have some difficulties with the Falinks deck that has kind of been rolling around, people are experimenting with. And then again, the Zacian V. If we don't get that big one-hit KO on the very first setup one, that typically does get set up after using Intrepid Sword and Metal Saucers, and combo that with ADP, that's where things get a little bit hairy. But for the most part, we do great against Pikarom. We do great against the Dragapult VMAX. All of the even Dollstall we're able to work around for the most part, but we don't need a lot of attack power, and we're able to work around those disruptions they typically have. The biggest thing is the Falinks, because of Snorlax VMAX is weak to fighting type, so we're taking double damage and then taking advantage of one-hit KOs on Zacian Vs. I hope y'all enjoy the video of the battles coming up. Make sure you hit subscribe and leave any comments about the deck. Alright, starting off our first battle. We lose the coin flip. Hopefully we go second. Opponent's taking their time a little bit. Alright, so we're going second. I find second going works better with this deck. You're not taking any attack damage on turn 1. Yes, we don't get evolve onto Snorlax VMAX in our first turn, but if we do go second, we start off with the Volcanion, then we can use the Flare Starter attack, get Snorlax V set up, and then turn 2, we're ready to go with the Snorlax VMAX. Not really sure what our opponent's playing here based on the start. Guess we'd like to draw a card. So we are playing a Sableye V. So a lot of people have been using this along with the Yvetal Gx because of the Doomsday GX attack in combination with the Galarian Zigzagoon, laying out the damage counters, and then the Doomsday GX taking a big knockout KO. So we definitely need to watch out for that with our Snorlax VMAX. Let's see what our opponent plays here. It doesn't seem like he's got a lot going on. Oh, there's the quick ball. See what he digs out. and it is the Galarian Zigzagoon. So he's gonna play it, start wheeling out the damage onto the Jirachi, and now it's our move. I think what's best for us is to quick ball, and we're gonna go with the boss's order. I don't feel that's useful right now. Go ahead and get a Snorlax V onto the bench, and then we're gonna get the Giant Hearth into play. I feel like we go for the Giant Hearth to drain out the deck before we Stellar Wish. And we get rid of the Heat Factory. And hopefully we get a Welder. And we do score the Welder. Welder onto the Snorlax V. And we got another Welder for next turn. We're gonna go ahead and scoop up the damaged Jirachi, bring out the fresh one, bench the recovered one, Stellar Wish again. We do get the Pokecom. Got a Pokemon Communication, and I feel like we want more cards. We're gonna go with the Dendene. Put the Dendene to bench for DD change, start with a fresh new hand. Get the Vitality Band, and we're gonna have to pass it over to our opponent. So I know we had Welder set up for next turn, but wanted to take advantage of trying to get more cards in hand. I don't feel like my opponent can take the knockout on either one of my Jirachis, despite having the Zigzagoon in play. And we're going to get Marnied, which kind of works for us. I really wasn't happy with our hand. So, still kind of the same setup. Depending if we draw into a Pokemon, we can go ahead and get our Snorlax VMAX into play. And there's the Yvetal Gx with a DD change. Another Galarian Zigzagoon. It's going to like to do the damage on to the Jirachi instead of the Snorlax V, which works better for us. And then he has a Jirachi in play, Skateboard Attachment, and see if he has the other energy to take this knockout on the Jirachi. So we're gonna scoop up net. He's gonna do the Zigzagoon again. And now he's gonna elect damage to the Snorlax V, trying to set up that crazy claw attack. Oh, he doesn't have the energy attachment. So more than likely my opponent's probably gonna go with the scoop up net, so he can pick up the Galarian Zigzagoon again, take advantage of that 10 damage ability spread. And that's what he does. Alright, so we got a Jirachi. So now we can go ahead and Pokemon Communication for our Snorlax VMAX. Get him evolved. I feel like we Stellar Wish, see if we can come up with anything. We get the switch. We go ahead and take that. And then we can switch to the Jirachi. We can try and Stellar Wish again. We get the Quick Ball and take advantage of that. We're going to use Professor's Research anyway. And discard the Fire Energy. Get the... I feel like another Snorlax V. Start setting another one up. We switch into the VMAX. And Professor's Research. So we're gonna go ahead and Pokecom, because I already have two Snorlaxes in play. We're gonna put the Absol out, trap his Pokemon a little bit, attach to Snorlax V, and take the knockout on the Sableye. And get 2 prize cards. So let's see how our opponent answers. He does have, again, the Doom Count GX. He has a Scoop Up Net in hand to pick up the Galarian Zigzagoon. So we're looking at 20 damage, but if he is to get the Galarian Obstagoon and evolve and place all 3 damage counters on our VMAX, he could bring up Yvetal Gx and take a big knockout with the Doomsday GX. So training cord, looks like our opponent is trying to work getting in energies back into his hand. So we do see the Scoop Up Net. There's 20. Which works for us. It looks like they were not able to dig out the Galarian Obstagoon. If they do somehow get it using a draw supporter, that 30 damage. So opting to promote the Yvetal GX. Oh, now we have an Oricorio GX. So with the knockout of the Sableye, he can draw in 2 more cards. And we get Marnie. And don't get really a lot to work with. He did get the Galarian Obstagoon, but elected to put the damage on the Jirachi. So let's see what our opponent comes up with here. So he's trying to take a knockout. Now the Snorlax V is at 40 damage. So he could Doomsday GX, but we are going to take the knockout. We're going to go ahead and take advantage of his stadium. Get this fire energy onto Snorlax V. Attach the Vitality Band. And I feel like we take the knockout and take our 2 prize cards. Because if you can come up with a way to regain the Yvetal GX and Doomsday GX us, we have another Snorlax V on bench. We can use the stadium in play to get another fire energy. And between the 2 Jirachis, I'm sure we could pull another Pokemon Communication. Or if not, a Professor's Research and dig out our Snorlax VMAX and take the knockout on the Yvetal GX for the win. But I'm not sure my opponent has a switch or a way to get this Galarian Obstagoon out of the active spot. Oh. So it takes a hit on 1 Jirachi, collects a prize card after the evolve into Galarian Obstagoon. But not seeing the benched Yvetal GX. So I think he is going to attack with the Galarian Obstagoon, which is fine. That puts us out of Doomsday GX range. Oh. So he's got a quick ball here, get the Yvetal GX. Now the question is if our opponent has a switch in hand. So they got the energy attachment. And I think if he had the switch, he would have played it already. And then Doomsday GX. Oh, we're gonna go for the boss's order. and trying to trap our Dendeni in the active spot. So all we've got to do is a switch, boss's order, and GG's. Take the knockout on the Dendeni, and that's game. GG's. So very deck. Felt like my opponent should have used the Galarian, Zigzagoon, and Obstagoon to spread the damage. And feel like we got lucky avoiding the Doomsday GX a little bit. Might not get lucky in this match. I saw fighting and normal Pokemon, which fighting for us is trouble with weakness damage. Our hand's starting off pretty good here though. Pretty sure we're going to end up going against a Falinks deck. So there's the Deontay Prism Star, Acrobike, and I'm pretty sure, oh, a Lily? Haven't seen a Lily in a while. So we have a Super Scoop Up, and there is the Falinks. So our opponent is playing the Falinks bench increasing damage deck. Hey, they've got the Deontay on in play to help increase that attack power with a team attack. So we're gonna Pokecom our Mew. See what we have in deck. Not really liking our hand, so we're gonna Stellar Wish. Go ahead and get Giant Hearth into play. And we will discard the Fire Energy, or no, the Pokecom. And then we can go ahead and get all 3 energies on Snorlax V this turn. Let's see what we get off the Welder before we DD change. We get the Vitality Band. And I think, yeah, we just DD change. Don't want to lose the boss's order or the welder, but want to get more cards in hand. So we can scoop up, but we're going to go ahead and pass and see what our opponent rides with. I don't think they have a way to get the Deontay out of the active spot. Oh, the boss's order up. Our Snorlax V has another Falinks and passes it back to us. So now we can go ahead and evolve the Snorlax VMAX. We get 2 more fire energies. We'll Stellar Wish. Get the escape board. The attack on the Jirachi. And I think we just saved the scoop up net for now. We'll go ahead and attach a fire energy to the Snorlax V. And Deontay, which is a big thing for us to get that attack power decreased on the Falinks as soon as our opponent starts building up, and now they're going to get the Rosa. So with Rosa, they get to search out any Pokemon, an item, and a energy. And I'm sure they are going to pick the Falinks V. Power Plant to knock out our Giant Hearth. Which, that doesn't hurt us too much. I mean, we do have the Dendeni GXs. But outside of that, we do not play too many ability GX Pokemon. So it doesn't have the double energy, but did still make use out of that to get the Falinks V onto bench. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig out 2 more fire energies. We only need 1 more for the Snorlax V. And we're gonna take a knockout on this. It's kind kind of get this damage decreased. Now, if they find another Falinks, they have the energy attachment, and if they play a martial arts dojo, then they can potentially take a one-hit KO on our Snorlax VMAX. Well, now they have the and there's the martial arts dojo. So yep, weakness damage, taking a big hit on our Snorlax VMAX. So we're gonna see if we can come up with a way to style out this Falinks deck. I'm gonna go ahead and quick ball. I feel a triple acceleration and get another Snorlax V. Or the Volcanion if we get the high heat. No, yeah, we got Snorlax V. So we do get the welder. So I'm only gonna welder for like the one. We do get the Volcanion. I'm gonna go ahead and put the Volcanion into play, because with all three Falinks V in play with a full bench, we're doing about 160 damage. 150 damage, but 160 with a Vitality Band. I'm gonna go ahead and quick ball the Super Scoop Up, get another Jirachi into play. I do have the switch. So now we can Pokecon, get our Snorlax VMAX. And we can evolve our Snorlax V and switch. And hopefully with this knockout, they don't have another Twin Energy or answer for our second Snorlax VMAX. So they do have the Twin Energy. They're gonna Ordinary Rod the Falinks and the Fighting Energies back into deck. Acrobike. So if they get another Falinks and the Martial Arts Dojo again, unfortunately that will be knockout for us because of weakness. So now if we get the Super Scoop Up to work, which we hit heads, now we can pick up the damaged Snorlax and bring up the Jirachi, rebench Snorlax V, evolve, and we are going to attach the Vitality Band, Stellar Wish. Don't really need either, but we'll drain the deck with a quick ball. We got the welder, so we can go ahead and welder. And we have the single energy attachment, so we don't have to waste our triple acceleration energy. Hopefully our opponent gets stuck again to where they can't take the one-hit knockout, and we can Super Scoop Up again and utilize the triple acceleration energies. So holding on pretty good against the Falinks. Counter games, we only need the one energy attachment. They're going to Professor's Research here. They get the full bench of Falinks. They're going to Tool Scrapper. Doesn't really affect our hit points. And they have the Martial Arts Dojo. GG's. Yep, unfortunately weakness, and the setup, we were not able to overcome the mighty Falinks. Still good match. Unfortunately, we just could not work around that weakness. So we are going to call Tails and lose again. Hopefully we get to go second. We do, so all our matches are going our way as far as turns. So far, all three matches pretty good. Starting out with the Jirachis, which allows us to Stellar Wish. So looks like our opponent is definitely playing some type of Malamar box, it looks like. Take the extra card. So Jirachi. I'm gonna Acrobike. Let's see what they pull. So discard a Viridian Forest. They're going to Stellar Wish. Get another Acrobike. Trying to drain the deck and dig. Curious to see what my opponent is playing here. We have an Energy Spinner, Metal Energy. So we have Metal and Psychic Energy. Ultra Necrozma. So this is probably the Battle Arena Ultra Necrozma deck, which was a pretty good release deck by TCG. Or a little bit of variance to it. So going with the Quick Ball and the Mysterious Treasure, getting 2 Inkays to bench so they can get that Malamar line set up. Alright. So we're going to take the Quick Ball. And Quick Ball off the Triple Acceleration, since we have the 2 Fire Energies to use with the Welder. We're going to get a Snorlax V. And say hello to our opponent. Put the Giant Hearth. We can discard a Fire Energy and then pull 2 more Fire Energies. And that allows us to get all 3 energies onto Snorlax V this turn. And switch, Stellar Wish, get the Fatality Band, get that attached on V, and then I feel like we're gonna DD change. Get more cards. We can put the Absol in play and trap his Jirachi. And then Skateboard, I don't feel like you can take the knockout, so that'll allow us to double Stellar Wish. And we'll pass it over to our opponent. So immediately getting the Viridian Forest into play so he can start getting those Psychic Energies. He already has the Metal Energy attachment he needs. Ultra Necrozma. See, so does 80 damage if I recall for every Psychic Energy. 80, 160, 240, 320. So, and then does a 20 base damage. So if our opponent has 4 Psychic Energies attached, he could potentially take a 1-hit KO on our Snorlax VMAX. And he already has one of the Malamar lines set up. Now the question is if he has a switch and is going to start taking a knockout by knocking out this Jirachi, or if he's going to pass it over to me and allow me to take the knockout on his Jirachi, and then he comes up with the Ultra Necrozma and takes a big one-hit KO. So he gets the Cynthia, so he's gonna get a new hand. So he does pass it over to us. So we can Quick Ball and then Pokecom, which I feel is kind of our best option. That way we can get Snorlax VMAX. And evolve. And then we can utilize the Viridian Forest to get a fire energy. And go ahead and weld her onto the Snorlax VMAX. Or we can do the Quick Ball. We can still weld her, take the Quick Ball, we'll get the draws off the welder, and then we can Quick Ball from there. Because I don't have another Dendeni in deck. So Quick Ball, the Jirachi, get another Snorlax V, start setting up, attach. And Gmax Fall. So the question now becomes if they will lead with the Jirachi, and they're gonna lead with the Necrozma. So with the single energy attachment, with Malamar only working to bench, that does only give our opponent 3 energy should they attach to the Necrozma. And we would be taking 260 damage. He does get another Necrozma on bench. So it looks like he is going to Malamar onto the other Necrozma and get him set up to be the secondary attacker and finish us off. Should we leave our Gmax or VMAX in play. So it does have 2 psychic energies in discard pile. There is the energy attachment for turn. Cynthia for the new hand. More than likely they are going to find their second Malamar line. Let's see. Acrobite. Looks like they're digging. Then discard an Inkay. So psychic recharge. Now, if we can find a way to knock out this Viridian Forest, hopefully they can't dig out another metal energy or get another Viridian Forest in play. We might be able to neutralize the other Necrozma. There it is, the 260 damage. And we don't really have a whole lot to work with. So if we leave the VMAX in play, we're definitely getting knocked out next turn because they don't have a way to get rid of Viridian Forest, so he's guaranteed the metal energy. We could boss's order a Malamar, but they probably still have other Malamars. They're able to dig out and really wouldn't affect him much. I feel like taking the knockout on the Necrozma and taking the prize card, hopefully to get us out of the hand that we're in, is kind of our best option. So there's Heat Factory and the Professor's Research. So I already had the metal energy and he does get the other Malamar up. He is going to Quick Ball, so more than likely he's got another Necrozma in deck. Yep. So gonna definitely double Psychic Recharge onto the fresh Necrozma, start getting him set up. Cynthia for a new hand. Our opponent's just kind of falling into all the right cards at the right time. So he's going to discard the Chaotic Swell, get a Psychic Energy. And now he has a third Malamar. So he is guaranteed 3 energies every turn coming out of the discard pile, which he has 4. So he can load up a Necrozma every turn from here on out, pretty much. Plus he has the single energy attachment to get the metal energy if needed, or the 4th psychic energy, and he's going to be taking the 1-hit KO on our. So this one, he settles for the 1 energy, that's all he needs, and takes 3 prize cards. So we are going to come up with Jirachi. Hopefully we can find a way around this. So attach the skateboard. We are knocking out. Our opponent's getting a little cocky, giving us the well played, thinking he's got it locked up. Let's see if we can prove it. So I feel like we boss's order the Malamar. Yeah, and with Absol in play, hopefully he cannot dig out a switch. He does only have 10 cards left in deck. We're going to Pokecom our Snorlax and get the VMAX, get our V evolved, and I think we're going to kick it to our opponent and cross our fingers and hope they do not have a switch to get the Malamar out of the stuck position. So they knock out our Heat Factory. Psychic Recharge has both Necrozmas to load up. He can choose to load up the 1. And we would definitely be in trouble, because if either one is loaded, he is taking the 1-hit KO on our VMAX. So it looks like he is opting for the 1 so he can take a knockout on the Jirachi. But does have the other one on bench pretty much ready to go by next turn. Not sure if my opponent is trying to decide. So, takes the knockout on the Jirachi. Gonna promote the other Jirachi. We're gonna utilize the Verdian Forest. We don't need Scoop Up Net. Get Snorlax VMAX. Then we can get the Giant Hearth, knock out Verdian Forest, try and limit his energy intake. We're gonna research. So we get the Mew. We can put him to bench. We can retreat. And we're going to be short. Go ahead and get rid of the switch. Take a look at what's to the left. So our Vitality Band is in deck, but we have no way to dig it out. So we are going to be 10 damage short of knocking out the product. So if our opponent has a switch and gets all the psychic recharges, then that's GG's. They win. If they cannot come up with a switch, then we can attach to the Mew, take the knockout with the Mew on the active Necrozma with 10 damage, and use the other 20 damage on the bench Necrozma, and that will help eliminate our 10 deficit that we have right now with our bench Pokemon. So, electing to do all 3 psychic recharges onto the bench Necrozma, looking to take a big knockout. Does he have the switch? I don't think our opponent took into consideration our Absol. Yep, he couldn't come up with a switch. He didn't think about the Absol. He needed 3 energies to be able to get the retreat. So now we can welder onto our Mew. We can switch. Bring Mew up and then use Psi Power and take the knockout on the Necrozma and do the 20 other damage onto the bench Necrozma. And that's GG's. We have the boss's order in hand, so he's going to come up with the Necrozma and he can take the knockout and drop down to 1, and we promote the Snorlax VMAX, and boss's order any of his bench Pokemon, and that's GG's. And I think our opponent is probably a little stunned and beating themselves up because of that mistake. Again, I don't think they took into consideration the Absol with the Dark Ambition ability. Oh, he's gonna G it, which still only does knock out the Mew and does 60 damage all the rest, and so that was sick. Our opponent thought they had it locked up, and then we used the Mew, utilized that Psi Power attack, and took the knockout on the Necrozma, did that extra damage onto the bench Necrozma, and our opponent unfortunately made the mistake of not realizing the Absol on the bench with the Dark Ambition ability. And we saw that our opponent thought he had it locked up, gave us the well played, you have a good deck, and then we came back and took it all. Match was crazy. I hope y'all enjoyed this video of the Snorlax VMAX. Let me know what you think in the comments about the matches. It's unfortunate about that Falinks, but hey, that's weakness damage. You can't do nothing about it. I hope y'all enjoyed this stream of my Snorlax VMAX deck. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and continue to look forward on the channel for more stream battles on TCG. We'll be having some building battle, deck building and openings coming up soon, and some tabletop battles coming to you soon. This is James Terry with JTZ TCG. Gotta catch them all.